let's select the top building right now, and we'll need to slice it up quite a bit, so tab into the edit mode and let's create the first cut. So Ctrl R, create a cut here and move it down a little bit, and I want to scale it on the Z to 0 because there's a little slope since the object wasn't rectangular. There is a slope when you create a new cut there. So let's press S, then Z, 0, enter, and let's move it down a little bit. And right now I want to create 2 more cuts here so we can have a nice opening for a window there. So let's press Ctrl R, increase with the mouse wheel and confirm. And right now I just want to scale this on the Z a little bit to make a window a little bit higher or taller. So press S, Z, and scale this up a little bit. Don't worry about the slopes here because right now I'm focusing on this area right here. And to finish the front geometry, just create 2 new cuts. So Ctrl R, increase the count, and let's cut it on the x-axis. Let's confirm and scale this on the X like this. Okay, and now if we go to the face select, this will be our window here, and we can go ahead and extrude it in. So let's press E and drag a little bit. We can go for a little bit deeper extrude here, since this is a thick wall or something like that. And right now we can finish it with a little detail, just like with the doors on the building 1. So let's press I to inset and then extrude a little bit more. Okay, and now I want to have a door here on the side because basically we'll be making a stairs right here. So the idea is that you park your hover car somewhere here and take the stairs up right here, and there will be door waiting for you. So let's make 2 cuts right here. Let's move them a little bit. We can adjust this by alt-clicking the loop and pressing G twice. Okay, because there's a little slope here, to make a door we'll need to straighten this out. So let's just select this edge right here, press S, then Z and 0, and you can further move it down a little bit so the door aren't so tall. I think this will be enough, and we can of course maybe scale this down too, and don't worry about these slopes here. Okay, and now we can just extrude the door in. So let's go to the face select, click here, Control click here to select the door and extrude it in. Press E, extrude. Okay, right now we can just insert this again like with the window and extrude one more time, just a tiny bit. Okay, and now I want to clean up this geometry a little bit, because when you're extruding like this on the bottom of the object where there is no further geometry available, it will create an overlapped faces down there. So let's go to the local view by pressing slash key, and I will show you what I mean. It's the faces right here where you have a bottom face and the top face just right over it, and I want to delete those. We don't need them because we have roof of the building 1 as a floor here, and we can further select all these faces and delete them. We don't need them. So let's click this one, and by holding Control we can delete all of those faces. So this is much cleaner geometry right now, and we can exit local view. And one last thing to do is to create a little bit of a curve here. So let's hold Alt and click here to select this loop, but I want to exclude the loop on the door here. So let's hold Control and drag around these. And right now we can just extrude them by pressing Alt E, extrude along normals. Let's press S to enable even thickness. And let's create that curve. And one last thing, we need to align this a little bit, so tab out, press G, then Y, and move this a little bit here. Okay, and that's the basic shape of our building number 2. There will be a lot more details here for the building 2, so let's create some. First of all, I want to create a little bit of window covers here, so let's select the object, tab in, and I want to again reuse some geometry because I don't want to position them or anything. So let's press 2 to edge select, click here and shift duplicate, enter P to separate, and select this edge, tap into it, and right now you can just select all, go to the top view, wireframe, and you can already see there's a little bit of window peeking out here, so we can use this as a reference. So let's just press E to extrude, and extrude it somewhere here. Yeah, maybe we need to just copy the angle of that, because as you can see on the reference, the building was a little bit shorter here. But we can fix that, no problem. Let's just tab out and shift select this one as well, tab in, vertex select, and drag a selection around everything here, and just press G and Y and move it a little bit here. Maybe it broke the slope here a little bit since we moved this, but there's a simple way how to fix these things to make the surface flat again, and I will show you later. So for now, leave it like this and tab out, and let's get back to this window right here, press period to focus and go back into the edit mode. Right now I want you to inset, so we have a nice window frame, so make an inset right here, maybe even smaller, we can adjust that with scaling. And now just separate this for later use, so without duplicating just press P and separate. And now I want to select this outer loop, so let's press A and extrude. So we have a window frame ready. Now tab out, select the separated face right here, tab in, and let's make some loops here, and maybe 10 or something like that. That'll work. Maybe 8 will suffice. Basically it's all up to you how dense you want this to be, and confirm by either escape or right clicking. And now we want to switch to the edge select, so press 2 to edge select and B for beveling, so let's press B and bevel. And now modify this to only one segment with the mouse wheel and try to make this a little bit even like that. Okay, and now, and this is important, I want to delete everything else, so I will need to make an inverse selection, but I want to make it in the face select mode. So let's press 3 to face select, Ctrl I to make inverse selection, and we can just delete those right now. Now press A and extrude this a little bit, only halfway, so there is a little difference there. Okay, and we can tab out, select the frame with shift and press Ctrl J to join, and you will know this from the episode before, so Ctrl J and join. And right now you have a nice window object. And again, I want to point out how this speed workflow reuse the existing geometry on the buildings and the existing edges on other objects. to really create something new really fast and block out the ideas. And you can always come back to these objects later and modify them, change their origin points, change the details, and add more details and more details. So basically, and that's the idea behind this whole scene, that we started with basic blocks, and right now we are going from object to object and adding a little bit more details. And if you do that, you can always come back later and here and there add some more and more and more details. And really, this is a great way how to create some balanced composition where you don't model the detailed object from the start, but actually lay out the scene and see how it works along the way. And since this object reused the geometry from the building, it maintains, right here you can see it maintains the pivot point of the building. So if we want the second window, there's nothing easier, just go to the add modifier and add a mirror modifier. There you go. Now I want to create some sort of canopy over the window. So let's select the building, tab in, and you guessed it right, we'll use existing edges. So let's go to the edge select the edge on the top of the window right here, shift duplicate, P to separate, tab out, select the new edge and tab in. You can select all, go to the side view by pressing 3 on the numpad. And right now we can just use E to extrude some shape, and I will go for a slight angle here, just like that, and again press E, Z, and extrude this down. It was really badly visible because there was an blue y-axis gizmo there, so you can just always rotate the view, press G and Z again and adjust this so it goes all the way down. And now just select all of this, press X and select only faces because we want edges and vertices kept in place, so delete only faces. And I know that there is one edge that I don't need, and it's the one right here at the bottom, so X and delete edges. Now okay, now go back to the solid view. We can add a skin modifier here, go to the vert select all with A and press Ctrl A to modify the radius of this, and we have a nice frame. And I want to avoid this overlap here, so we can drag a selection around these 4 vertices right here and press G and Z to move them up a little bit. Okay, and right now we can go back to the edge select, so press 2 for the edge select, and let's go to wireframe view so it's better visible. And we can see there are already edges selected, and that's exactly what I need. But if you for some reason wouldn't have this selection, just drag around with the mouse. And I want to duplicate and separate this again, so Shift D, Enter, P to separate, Enter, and remove. Now tab out first, select the new object and remove the skin modifier because we won't need that there. Tab in into the edit mode, select all and press F to cover. Go back to the solid view, and right now I want to cut this so we can make a cloth out of it. So let's make a loop, and yeah, I think 5 segments will be completely enough. And you can just select this face right here, go to the side view, enable proportional editing with O, but don't forget to change this to smooth. Press G, then Z, and drag this down a little bit. And just a slight curvature there. Okay. Now let's tab out of the edit mode and let's place the cursor in the center of the building right here. So place the cursor by holding Shift and right click. And let's add a plane. So Shift A, plane. And right here we'll take advantage of the snapping because I want to match this slope right there. But I won't duplicate this face on the roof right now, and I will tell you why a little bit later, because I want to take advantage of rotation of the object. So let's just turn on snapping right here. You can use Shift Tab as you remember, or click in here, and I want to enable face snapping, so click face. I want to click align rotation to target and project individual elements. And right now just press G without moving the mouse and left click to confirm. So we are now copying the rotation of the slope perfectly, but actually we have the rotation at the object. So if we want to move that, you can always press G and Shift Z to move it like this. And let me disable snapping like this. But of course, if you press Shift Z again, you will switch to the local coordinates, and right now you can move this along the slope, and that's what we'll need to create some detail on the roof. And that's why I'm not copying the original face, which wouldn't have this rotation because it would have the rotation information from the building, which is 0, 0, 0. Okay, let's move on. Don't forget to turn off snapping if you didn't already. So turn off snap and switch this back to the increment. If we were to use the control snapping while dragging something again, it takes into account this setting. So let's make this default. And now I want to tab into it. Go into edge select, select the front edge, and I want to drag it out a little bit. So let's press G and Y and Y again. And you see this wouldn't be possible if we would duplicate the slope, because now we have a local rotated coordinate system available. Okay, and maybe the back one too. So let's select that, press G, then Y, Y again, and drag it out a little bit. Now I want to create like 10 to 12 cuts here on the roof. So yeah, let's do that. I think this is 12 cuts. I'm okay with that. And right now I want to bevel these. So let's press B. But I want to bevel with 4 steps. You will see why in a second. So let's move the mouse wheel once, twice, 3 times. No, actually, yeah. So we have 4 segments, and make it like this. So it's evenly distributed. And right now I want to go to face select. So press 3 to face select. Press Ctrl minus to contract the selection. You should be aware of this already. And now let's turn off proportional editing. So press O. And let's press G, then Z, and Z again to use the local axis. Okay. Now we just need to delete these faces on the side. So let's shift select them, press X, and delete faces. And right now I want to scale everything on the X a little bit to cover the building better. So let's press A to select all, press S and X to scale. Okay, and right now we can tab out. We can move this a little bit on the X. If you go to the front view, press G, then X. So it's better centered. And we can of course move it a little bit on the Z. So we get rid of that overlap there that was caused by snapping. So let's press G, then Z, and move this up. Okay, and now the other reason that I wanted to have this object with the rotation, I want to shift duplicate this, enter. Let's move this up a little bit, and again in the local coordinate system, so press G, then Z, and Z again. Move this over the original, and right now I want to slice this in the middle, so let's go to the edit mode, press R, create a loop, slice it, and now just go to the face select, drag selection around these, press X, and delete faces. You can rotate this or go to the top view and drag selection here and delete these as well. So press X, faces, okay. And now I want to move this so the pivot point is in the center, so let's press A, press G, Shift Z to move on the X and Y plane, but press Shift Z once again so we make use of that coordinate system and place it somewhere in the middle, roughly. And right now we can just tab out, and here you can rotate around the local axis, and you can drag around the local axis and place it somewhere. So that's the roof for our second building. And again, sometimes you want to make use of existing geometry if it benefits the task you want to do, but sometimes you want to use snapping, so you save the rotation for a later use on that object. And again, don't forget to name the objects. We have some planes here, so let's name this building 2 roof, and this one too. And don't forget to save, of course.